Yo, what up? It's JSF. How y'all doing? I know it's been a minute. I am the king of inconsistency, but I'm trying to get better about that. I'm trying to get back in the habit of making videos, maybe at least a weekly video. I don't know. Y'all let me know what y'all think. But anyway, you hear the background music. I'm sure you see the title of this video. I want to talk about what the next NetherRealm game is because it's a fighting game. We know what it is, but we'll get to that. And then I want to talk about what the next NetherRealm game should be. And by next, I mean it should be out by now. I think that's what they should have done. I don't think they can do it, but I think they should have done it, and I'll get to that a little bit later. But yeah, I was just watching the Ed Boon interview with IGN, where he was talking when he got inducted into the Hall of Fame, and they were just asking him a bunch of questions. And I was thinking about the other Ed Boon interview. I don't know if it's taken from the same interview, where he talks about breaking the cycle, and then a lot of people were like, "Oh, that means we're not getting Injustice 3. The next game's not Injustice." And when you look at all the different leaks and rumors and everything that have come out, I think it's pretty blatant what their next NRS game is, except that there's one specific thing that we don't know. We know it's a Mortal Kombat game, but that doesn't tell us enough if you're thinking the way my brain is thinking, right? At this point, we've just seen way too many things leading up to us thinking that, whether it was the fact that they were teasing it in December, the accidental posting of some MK12 stuff by one of the people who work in NetherRealm, Ed Boon saying that, and it sounded like it's not going to be Injustice. Somebody who leaked MK11 details just came out again and said, by the way, MK12 is coming, Reiko's in it, right? And I could have made videos about some of these individual topics, but I didn't feel like I knew other people would do it and you guys would see it, and it was like I wasn't needed for that, right? So I wanted to bring that all together because it's all the same thing to me. Like the Ed Boon thing, the guy coming out who leaked some MK11 details before they became public at all. So he had some inside knowledge somehow, right? Recently coming out and saying MK12 is coming and Reiko is in it, which is interesting. I'm not mad at that choice. I think some of those 3D era characters can get revamped. I was actually doing a video series on redesigning shitty 3D era characters. Those videos were pretty fun, but I felt like people didn't like them, so I stopped making them. But if anybody does enjoy those videos, I could definitely make more of those. But yeah, through all those hints and everything we've seen so far, and the fact that it's like the 30th anniversary of Mortal Kombat and all this stuff. Mortal Kombat movie came out, did well. We had Jeff Grubb, who's an industry insider, say it looks like the next game is Mortal Kombat, not Injustice. If you go back to the NVIDIA leak, it says the next Mortal Kombat game is going to release April 2023, which is looking like it's probably true because we're in March 2022. We don't even have an announcement yet, right? So assuming we get an announcement at E3 this year, that would put the game on pace to drop early next year, right? Unless they go the MK11 method where they announce it super late, drop it 4 months later, or whatever. But I don't think there should be any doubt in anybody's mind that the next NRS game is Mortal Kombat 12. The thing that makes it interesting for me is it just MK12 or is it MK versus DC2? And I know people, MK versus DC was kind of and I totally agree. That game is very, very mid. That is the most mid, well, it's not the most mid, because there's some bad Mortal Kombat games. But, like, as far as hyped up fighting game franchises and stuff, like, that was supposed to rival Marvel vs. Capcom, and it just completely did not. And then that's when Midway went under. They went out of business, so we never got any DLC. And the game is kind of just left in a very kind of state. But we've seen what they've done with Injustice. We've seen what they've done with Mortal Kombat. And I think Warner Brothers, if not, NRS, could definitely rationalize making NMK versus DC2. Now, do I think they're going to do it? Maybe. It's possible. I mean, we got the Joker. We got, they've been kind of building up to it, right? We got the Joker in MK11. We got Sub-Zero and Raiden in Injustice 2. We got Scorpion in Injustice 1. And they keep referencing MK versus DC. Like, they've canonized that game. They don't want us to forget about it. They're not ashamed of it. They're not like, oh, that didn't happen. Like, it could be seen as an alternate timeline or something, but they definitely have canonized the events of that game. And I mean, it could just be for fun and for Easter eggs, or it could be foreshadowing, right? I mean, I just think that it could be a very real possibility that a lot of people aren't thinking about. Because for those of you who don't know, Mortal Kombat versus DC is Mortal Kombat 8. So I know you're like, oh, it says MK12. It can't be MK versus DC. No, no, no. MK versus DC is canonically Mortal Kombat 8. Mortal Kombat 7 is Armageddon. Mortal Kombat 9 is Mortal Kombat 2011. And then obviously MKX is MK10. So NetherRealm is counting that as the 8th Mortal Kombat game. So if the next game was MK versus DC 2, it would still count as the 12th. Just saying. But enough about that. Enough about Mortal Kombat. Let's talk more about some DC. And I could have did this as 2 separate videos, but I figured let's do it all as one. I want to talk about what the next NRS game should be, and I did say DC, so you're right. It's somewhere along the lines of Injustice, right? But it's not Injustice 3. I do not think Injustice 3 should have been the next game. I'm okay with them skipping it to do MK versus DC 2 or MK12. I'm okay with that. But if you're gonna jump if you're gonna jump it and do that with all this dead space in between your games, you could have gave us something. And this is where my idea kind of gets bred from. It's kind of from the fact that you could half develop this, and also from the fact, or not from the fact, but from the rumor that the next Mortal Kombat game was gonna just have every character from the old Mortal Kombat games, from MK9 to MKX, bring everybody back, blah 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 blah. There's gonna be 50 characters, all this crazy shit, which I don't think is true. I don't think it's true at all. But I thought it was an interesting idea, and I feel like if that idea was fleshed out, it could be really cool. And I think the perfect time to flesh that out would be now, but it will be with DC instead of MK. So I feel like what they should have done is, instead of Injustice 3, do Injustice 2.5. And what I mean by that is, you take Injustice 2 as the foundation, right? And then you look to what you did with MK11. You look to, whatever you wanted to do, like the ideas. Like Ed Boon said, we had an idea for, Fighter Pack 0, where we brought back 3 characters from Injustice 1 and put them in Injustice 2 as DLC. And they didn't do it, obviously, but a lot of people were like, yo, do that. We would like that. A lot of people thought that would be a good idea. And I want to take some ideas that I've even said in the past for how they should work for the next Injustice game to kind of fill this out, right? I think if you take Injustice 2 as we have it, right? And then you go back to the first game, bring the characters that are in the first game and not in the second game, bring them all over, right? This is why I say half development, because they already have full movesets. They already have, like, the way they developed Injustice 2, they didn't have to redesign characters from scratch. So it's not like they'd be out of place. You can throw in a couple new normals, a couple new animations, but the majority of the cast has the same normals and animations as they did in the first game. Excuse me. There are some exceptions to the rule, but, that's most of it. I think if you bring all of them back, right, throw in a few extra moves, because Injustice has abilities, right? I know those are only for casual play, but you want them to be complete characters, and I'll get back to this in a second. So you bring over Sinestro, you bring over Shazam, you bring over Deathstroke, you bring over Nightwing, Martian Manhunter, you bring all these characters over. All the work for the characters is done for the most part. You throw some small ability moves, for them. Boom, bring them over. The other thing I think they should do is distinguish the premier skins from the other characters. Like, let's tweak Jon Stewart a little bit from Hal Jordan. Let's tweak Power Girl a little bit from Supergirl. Make them slightly different. They already have so many abilities to choose from. You can literally just say, this is a Power Girl thing, this is a Supergirl thing. You have characters like the Ninja Turtles in the game who are very similar yet different. I would just like them to do that with those characters, just to kind of flesh out the roster even more. Like, give me a reason to pick Mr. Freeze instead of Captain Cold, right? Make his movesets a little bit different. Maybe his fireball works a little bit different, you know what I mean? Maybe he has an overhead that Captain Cold doesn't have. I don't know. I'm just saying that as an example. Once you do all of that, there's 2 more things I want to do. A balance patch, obviously, a massive balance patch that balances the game a lot better, makes it a little more fair and a little more fun. Not as zoning heavy. Make the annoying characters, like the Atom, he's got to get nerfed just because he's annoying to fight against. Like, characters that are annoying should never be good. Like, Dawson in Street Fighter should never be top tier because he's annoying. Like, it's bad for the game. Right, stuff like that. Like the strong zoning character or runaway character should never be that good. that, and then the last thing is unlock all the abilities, just like you did with MK11 at the end of its life. It's custom variations for everybody. We unlocked everything, go crazy. Do the same thing in Injustice. Now you got to rebalance these moves, which is why I said you got to do a balance patch. But there are a lot of cool moves. Like I remember during Injustice, like the meme was like, you see a cool ass move in the trailer and you go, I bet that's a gear move that you can't even use. Like I remember Red Hood's trailer where he has the move where like the gun jams and he like throws it at you. Everybody was like, yo, that's sick. But then we were all like, damn, I bet you we can't even use that. And we never saw it get used, right? So stuff like that would just make the game more exciting. And this would just be Injustice 2.5. It would give the game new life. People already need something to play. It's a game you could half develop. Like you don't need to spend years making this. Like they stopped making content for Mortal Kombat 11 at the end of 2020, and they officially announced they were done supporting it in early 2021. Like it's been almost a year since then. Like in that time, they definitely could have shelled out like basically an Injustice 2.5, like, and then you can resell it. You could sell it for like $40 or something, $30 or something. I said let's say 30, because you can say it has new characters, even though the characters are old characters. Then you got your premier skin characters that became more individual characters, new moves, new balance patch. You know what I mean? You can even announce a little tournament circuit for it. I would be down. I don't know what you guys think, but to me, that would be really cool. But yeah, that's what the next NRS game is. That's what the next NRS game should be, in my opinion. I think you will please both audiences because you could probably do that in less than a year of development. Because most of the work is done. You could probably do that in less than a year of development and then get back to working on MK12, and you know that this would hold us over, whereas now the whole NRS fan base is just starved for content, and now they gotta fake leak stuff to try to keep us excited and interested in their new games. But you know, I don't run a business, so let me know what y'all think. Y'all disagree? Y'all agree? Would y'all play Justice 2.5? I think it would be a fire game, especially if I got to fucking decide what moves to put, what moves not to put, what characters. Like, well, the characters are already there, but like, imagine a balanced Martian Manhunter. That would be fun. A Martian Manhunter who can't just overhead teleport you over and over again and cross you up. I'm just saying, it's certain things, like, because I love Injustice 1, but it's jank as hell. So certain things I would like to see rebalanced, especially in Injustice 1, Injustice 2, because Injustice 2 is a better game than 1, but it's not as fun as 1, and I think that's the biggest problem with Injustice 2. It's just not fun. Like, I don't want to see Starfire throwing fireballs all the time. I don't want to see the atoms shrinking and sweeping you over and over. Like, it's just, you know what I mean? I think the game had more potential, and this would unlock its full potential. But anyway, I've been talking for a minute. I'm going to go ahead and get up out of here. If y'all want to see more content, leave a comment. Let your boy know. I'll get back on the YouTube grind. But other than that, I'm going to get out of here. Y'all stay safe. JSF, I'm outie. Peace.